The smell of stale breath dictates your deepest focus. You think attention is a choice. You are wrong. Your most vital mental choices aren't driven by abstract thought. They are dictated by tiny chemical signals flowing in your blood right now. These subtle shifts, a dip in CO2, a shift in metabolites, are essentially the body's internal radio tuner. They tune itself to biological necessity first, overriding whatever philosophical grand narrative you were chasing. We call this chemocognitive loop. When peripheral receptors pick up these chemical whispers, they fire afferent signals straight into your cortex. It means that sometimes what feels like a random distraction is actually the most critical data point your body needs you to pay attention to. Imagine your body isn't just a machine that needs maintenance. Imagine it's an early warning system constantly whispering guidance to your brain. We used to think attention was something we controlled with sheer willpower. But new research shows how peripheral signals, subtle chemical shifts in blood or air, act like internal compasses. These are chemoreceptor afferents modulating cortical saliency. Essentially, when you're stressed or starved, the metabolic message isn't just a discomfort. It is literally biasing where your brain decides to focus its resources. It dictates what feels urgent, turning bodily necessity into deep knowing about reality itself. Forget everything you thought about controlling your focus because maybe your body is running the show all along. We often treat our metabolic shifts as just background noise, a slight headache, mild fatigue. But this research shows that those whispers are actually direct commands from a deep internal system. Your peripheral signals aren't just telling you need water. They are chemically biasing what your brain perceives as urgent and important. Think of it like an internal guidance, GPS calibrated not by maps, but entirely by fuel levels and terrain. This intense loop, where chemical input directly shapes conscious attention through chemoreceptor afferents modulating cortical saliency, suggests something profound. It means the body isn't just a vehicle. It is actively communicating its deepest needs as absolute truth to your mind. But if our most basic physiological signals dictate what we find meaningful, which means something nobody expected for true cognitive freedom, what if your deepest beliefs aren't just intellectual choices? What if they are filtered by a metabolic status check happening deep inside you right now? Your body is constantly broadcasting subtle, low-frequency data about its needs, pH shifts, circulating metabolites. These signals act like an automatic focus dial, telling your brain what matters most to survive in this exact moment. It turns the biological imperative into subjective reality itself, a chemocognitive loop. Some researchers suggest these inputs are merely noise interrupting pure thought, but we think they are instructions from a hidden system. If our body is dictating how much of life we notice, imagine where that leaves your attention. Think about enlightenment like trying to hear a whisper in hurricane-force winds. We assume we need some grand intellectual leap. But what if your body is doing all the work? Metabolic signals from deep inside, pH shifts, CO2 changes. These are not just signs of indigestion, they are communication streams. Your viscera act as an oracle feeding critical data directly into your highest brain function circuits. The receptors fire and signal a state shift to your prefrontal cortex. But how does that chemical whisper transform the entire fabric of what you perceive? That transformation, I think, changes everything about consciousness itself. We thought consciousness was this grand, purely internal project, an intellectual pursuit of perfect clarity. But the data suggests something far more intimate is at play. What if your greatest spiritual insights aren't born from quiet meditation, but are instead a direct translation of metabolic necessity? The subtle chemical shifts in your body, things like minute changes in pH or CO2 levels, they act like navigational beacons for your brain. Your internal chemistry dictates where your attention lands. This phenomenon, chemoreceptor afferents modulating cortical saliency, means the universe isn't calling you to enlightenment. It might just be urgently pointing out a blood sugar imbalance. The question now is, how do we listen? The truth isn't always found in a meditation cushion. It is often written by your blood chemistry. Imagine your body as an incredibly subtle early warning system that you have been ignoring. When we finally listen, when we acknowledge the whispers of metabolic shifts or minor autonomic tilts, we stop treating these signals as mere discomforts and start seeing them as vital data points. These are peripheral chemosensory inputs modulating cortical saliency, translating biological necessity directly into cognitive focus. Your body is an oracle providing guidance. You simply need to tune in. The full research archive is at jmthomasofficial.com. Stop treating your intuition as mystical guesswork. The deepest sense of knowing is often just sophisticated biology talking to you. Think of it like a dashboard light in your body. When something deep inside needs attention, a shift in pH or metabolism, your brain flags that internal state with absolute urgency. This hardwired signaling, mediated by peripheral inputs and systems we call chemoreceptors modulating cortical saliency, tells you what is truly important right now. So the immediate actionable step? Slow down. Pay acute, non-judgmental attention to subtle bodily signals. What does your body whisper before it screams? The full research archive is at janthomasofficial.com.